What is up, everybody? It's Master1994 here, and we are going to take a look at my Cleric build. Now, before we get started, there is a table of contents in the description below, so if you want to skip any part of my video, go ahead and take a look at that table of contents and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. So first things first, let's look at my stat allocation. Now, obviously, I'm not level 120 just because I wanted to limit my invasions as little as possible. I'm also not optimized when it comes to strength and dexterity, as I have more stats than are required for the weapon that I'm using. That being said, if you want to optimize at the 120 meta, what I would suggest is to limit your strength and dexterity to the required levels for the weapon that you want to play with. I would also suggest you keep your attunement at level 19 for 5 attunement slots, and you set your faith to 50 with 10 extra points. All of your other points could go into vitality and endurance depending on the gear you want to use and the health pool you want to have. As far as my gear goes, I'm using a plus 15 battle axe. I've always really enjoyed the battle axes in the Dark Souls series, and when it's buffed, it has a pretty awesome attack rating and it makes for some really nasty critical hits. You can pretty much use any weapon that's buffable. If you're wanting to look at some top critical damage for some low stat requirements, I might look towards the Obsidian Greatsword. I'm using the Silver Knight Shield just because of all the shields that can parry, it has the best stability. So in my opinion, this makes it the best shield in the game, and it looks good for this Fashion Souls. We're also using the Dark Moon Talisman because whether you're at 40 or 50 faith, it's going to give you the most magic adjustment of all of the talismans. For my armor, most of this is just Fashion Souls and making sure I have enough poise to function. The only thing I would really change if you want to optimize is I would probably use the Crown of the Dark Sun for the extra spell damage, but other than that, it's just Fashion Souls and you can play around with it and see what you like. I think my rings, however, are pretty important. I'm using the Ring of Favor and Protection, a well-rounded ring, and the Hornet Ring. Critical hits with the plus 15 battle axe when buffed with Sunlight Blade and with the Hornet Ring equipped one-shot a lot of players, so it's very powerful and very important. Lastly, I'm also using 2 slots of Wrath of the Gods, 1 slot of Emit Force, and 2 slots of Sunlight Blade. The Emit Force played really well with Wrath of the Gods, so I picked that up instead of a heal or lightning spear. I wanted 2 stacks of Wrath of the Gods so I could really play with the spell. I didn't want to just spam it on enemies and be overpowered, but I actually got to use it as if it was force and knock a few people off of edges and cliffs, and I got to combo it with Emit Force and just have a lot of fun with it because of that extra slot. And then the 2 Sunlight Blades, that's pretty obvious I think, I just didn't want to run out of buffs. All in all, this was a very strong build. Very well rounded with some pretty impressive critical damage. I'm going to talk a little bit about the strategies and combos that I used in the upcoming PvP clips, so let's get started. These first clips really show me utilizing the parries, and I feel like I got pretty decent with the parries just recording the clips for this video. I mean, this guy in the arena, he was using his way-hander and was predictable, but I do parry him a couple times back to back. I mean, those 3 clips right there were actually like one spawn after the other. I just didn't want to show you guys and make you wait for him to respawn. This guy, I make the mistake of getting hit by his dark beads. I was blocking and I did punish it with the backstab, but here's another R1 combo and super easy to parry. This clip shows me failing on a few parries, but I get some distance. He doesn't have any poise. Emit Force all the way. I back him up into a corner and then Wrath of the Gods him, and it's an amazing combo. My only mistake here really was that I stopped using Wrath of the Gods. I should have just kept spamming it. So that Emit Force and Wrath of the Gods combo is ridiculous in some situations when the enemy has no poise and it can knock them down, and then you can close that distance and use your Wrath of the Gods. It's amazing, and it's really helpful to have that extra slot of Wrath of the Gods in that situation. This clip really shows using Wrath of the Gods and parries to finish off a group of enemies. I even make quite a few mistakes. I get hit with a spell, I miss a parry, I miss what could have been a backstab, and because of my build and because of the strength of my weapon and the basic parry knowledge, able to get a parry at the end, I get to take out the host. So I think it's really important to familiarize yourself with just the different tactics that can come with this build. I followed this guy for like 5 minutes. I followed him all the way into that room with the bonfire. Didn't even know that he had summons yet. And as you could see, he closed that door. I reopened it, came through here, and there were 2 summons. And I just had to kind of, figure it out and think on my feet. And I Wrath of the Gods one to death and finished off the host with a parry. So, and actually that's what I do here too. I finished off the summon with a Wrath of the Gods, and sadly there are the bars in the way right there. I hate fighting in this room, but I got a parry nonetheless. That being said, you've got to be careful with your parries. As soon as I saw this guy and saw that he had a target shield, I knew what I wanted to use it for. I knew exactly what I was going to do to this guy. I knew he was going to be parry hungry. And as you can see, I just side stepped him and backstabbed him. And it was over at that point. So you have to be really careful and not just parry spam, but, parry combos. Like right here, I waited to get hit for the first time and I parried the second swing. It was easy. If you familiarize yourself with the opponent, maybe you can parry an initial attack if they are doing the same kind of rotation when it comes to their initial attacks. I think this is the last one, not the last one, but one of the last clips showing a parry. And as you can see, blocked the first hit, parried the second. Super simple. This clip really shows comboing the spells. Wrath of the Gods him to close the distance. As you can see, he tried to hit me while I was buffing, so I had a feeling he was going to be aggressive. And as soon as he ran away, I emit forced him. And I put my talisman away, ran up towards him, and switched really back really quickly. Wrath of the Gods him, and sure enough, it worked. And this guy, I know it looks cheap right now, but he was very tanky, and he used a lot of Estus. And I finally backed him up into a corner right there. Pure luck. Did not mean to do that, but he got in that corner and I just spammed it. I mean, that was the only way I was going to kill him, really. He just kept spamming his Estus. He had like 2k health. That was another. I felt pretty good about that parry as well, but I don't know. Basic parry knowledge, it'll get you far. Just looking at this clip and the scenery and the change in my playstyle, I'm sure a lot of you know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to parry this guy. I didn't want to backstab him. I wanted to force him off the cliff. So I basically just used Wrath of the Gods as if it was force. And there you go. And it motivated me, as you're going to see, because I did it again to a different guy. Even double tapped this guy. Didn't need to, but it was fun nonetheless. Here's another gank spank. I used my third Wrath of the Gods right there. And so I think that the host thought I was out. And so he made the mistake of jumping in. And I just destroyed this group of enemies. I was just using the wall to my advantage. Waited it out. And when they got greedy, I finished them off. So that was fun. As you can see, I did a lot of invasions in Sin's Fortress. I love Sin's Fortress. It's very fun. But here's another parry combo. I mean, look at those spell combos. Wrath of the Gods is so good for after someone falls to the ground, whether it's with a Wrath of the Gods or from emit force or a backstab or a parry. Waking them up with Wrath of the Gods is almost always a great choice. And this is just kind of a well-rounded video, I think, or clip, I'm sorry. This guy summoned, and as you can see, he created some distance. I started casting him at force, and he started healing, and it kind of made me upset. So what I did was I backed up onto the pillar, and I Wrath of the Gods him where he couldn't really retaliate, and he lost so much health that he started playing defensively, and it was just, the game was over from there. So that's another example of using your surroundings with your spells to really take advantage of the situation. Now this is what I do when anyone has a curved sword. As you can see, I took the first hit on purpose because it's not going to poise break me, and I parried the second. So curved swords are fast enough to where you can't block the first attack and parry the second. At least I couldn't. I was having a lot of trouble doing that. So I just took the first hit and parried the second. And that obviously works with, Quelaag's Fury Sword, and most importantly, the Gold Tracer. I know you guys probably hate it when people use that weapon. Well, that's how you counter it. So it's pretty effective. And this poor guy being repetitive and letting me get that clean backstab. Next up are, just a few fun clips like this guy. I was trying to find him for a while. I see him, buff up, things are looking great. Think it's going to be a fair 1v1. And, since Fortress has its way with us, as always, right? It's good fun. And then this next guy, I don't know how he let me do this to him. With that, guys, I'm going to conclude here. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a long time since I've made a video, so if you liked what you've seen, let me know why. If you watched some of my earlier videos and you think I made any improvements or did something that wasn't as great, let me know. I'd love to hear it. As always, go ahead and comment and like and do all that good stuff. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know. And I will see you guys next time.